셋, 별.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome back again to today's presentations. I am Sepia Humaira as the moderator of today's presentations. So for that, first of all, let us praise and thank to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given grace so that we can carry out this presentation meeting. The Honorable Mr. Dr. Muhammad Andriana Ghaffar MMPD as a lecturer in this course, and also to all my beloved friends. Hopefully we are all given health and this presentation can run smoothly until it finishes. We are from Group 9. We'll present the material about modifying of text behavior patterns in Chapter 9. Before we start, I will introduce some of our presenters today. The first one is Nur Safia, the second is Rafika Amara, and the last is Sepia Humaira or myself. Okay, next, here are some points from the material that will be delivered, including the first one is systematic techniques for changing habits, applying the principle of extensions, alternative behavior patterns, applying the principle of saving, maintaining desirable behavior change, cueing, generalizations and discriminations, applying the principle of modeling, applying the principle of satiations, and the last is synthesis activities for Chapter 9. So without any further ado, the first material will be delivered by myself. Okay, the first material I will be explain about systematic techniques for changing habit. The first is the formation and elimination of behavior patterns. Theories from behavioristic psychology provide the basis for strategies used to teach students to change their behavior patterns. They provide a basis for teaching students to stop bad behavior and replace them with good ones using positive reinforcement, punishment, and negative reinforcement. These principles have an effect on students' behavior patterns and can be used consciously in managing of text behavior, such as encouraging students to do assignment consistently. For example, such as giving praise to students when they do well on an assignment, or positive reinforcement to encourage them to do the assignment diligently. Taking advantage of this principle to help students break off text habits and acquire on text ones is, of course, preferable to having them operate out of your control. You achieve success with the behavior modification principle explained in this chapter by the first, consciously considering their influence when planning learning activities and interacting with students, and applying them systematically to off-text behavior problem. And the second, the need for systematic observation, as demonstrated in case 9.1, being systematic is particularly valuable in evaluating how well a behavior modification plan is working. So I will explain the case. Case 9.1 tells the story of Mr. Washington trying to break the habits of Jana, a first grader who often yells at him when he is busy with other students. Mr. Washington used the extension principle and alternative behavior patterns to deal with the problem of Jana's annoying behavior patterns. However, because he did not systematically record the results of his plan, his informal perceptions misled him into thinking that Jana's habits were getting worse. If he had kept good records, he might not have given up so quickly. Compare Mr. Washington's perceived tally, example in figure 9.1, with the actual tally reflected in figure 9.2. Research shows that there are possible differences between perception and reality, as the actual baseline data was only slightly different from what Mr. Washington thought. According to Mr. Washington's perception and systematically collected count, the frequency of Jana's screams increased immediately after the plan was implemented. When Mr. Washington began to ignore her, at least initially he has expected to try with more vigor and more frequency to do what would have previously worked, making Jana's scream seem more frequent and more disturbing than they actually were. When Mr. Washington begins to ignore her, at least initially he is expected to try more vigorously and more often to do what previously worked. Because Mr. Washington expects the plan to work, Jenna's plan is yell seemed to echo louder and more annoying than her previous yells, trying to stop the behavior. So next slide. The next material is about applying the principle of extensions. Whenever the positive reinforce for a person's voluntary behavior pattern are removed or cease to exist, the person will begin to discontinue the behavior patterns. This phenomenon is the principle of extensions. Students begin to break habits when they discover those habits are no longer rewarding. One voluntarily establishes a particular behavior pattern only the presence of positive reinforce. So there are two types of principles, namely, there are unintentional extensions and intentional extensions. Unintentional extensions happen when a behavior that used to be encouraged or rewarded gradually disappears without anyone planning for it. In case 9.2, Ruth, a sixth grader, used to visit the school library regularly to help the librarian, Mr. Tolbert. At first, Ruth received a lot of praise and attention from Mr. Tolbert, which made her enjoy helping out even more. However, over time Mr. Tolbert became less attentive and less appreciative of Ruth's help. As a result, Ruth stopped coming to the library altogether because she didn't feel valued anymore. This is an example of unintentional extension because Ruth's behavior of helping in the library faded away without anyone intentionally trying to stop it. The second is intentional extensions. Intentional extensions is a strategy used to help students stop certain off-task behaviors. In case 9.3, Ms. Kohlberg, a math teacher, noticed that many students are copying homework instead of doing it themselves, leading to high homework scores but low test scores. To address this, she changed her grading system to remove the positive reinforcements for copying homework. Now, homework won't affect their grades, and only test score will determine their grades. By implementing this change, she aims to see if students stop copying homework and start performing better off tests. Next slide. So the next material is about alternative behavior patterns. Alternative behavior patterns refer to new action that emerge when one behavior is stopped. Students are always engaging in various behaviors, and when one behavior is extinguished, another behavior takes its place. It's important to ensure that the replacement behavior is desirable and not worse than the original one. So for example, Ms. Goldberg must prevent students from replacing copying homework with cheating on tests. When applying the principle of extensions, it's crucial to identify a suitable alternative behavior to positively reinforce. Ideally, this new behavior should be incompatible with the considered one. For instance, Ms. Goldberg could provide feedback on homework to encourage students to complete it properly, thus improving their test scores. In case 9.5, Mr. Esser addressed a student habit of littering by giving him responsibility of cleaning up the area before class ends. This new responsibility positively reinforced the behavior of cleaning up, which replaced the behavior of littering. Okay, so maybe that's all the material that I can explain. The next material will be delivered by Rafika. To Rafika, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator. I will explain the next material about applying the principle of shaping. The first is case 9.6. Abby hardly ever speaks up in Mr. Arata class. Mr. Arata sets a goal for Abby to answer questions voluntarily, make comments, and raise questions during group learning activity sessions. Arata noticed that Abby brings up her hand to stroke her hair. Arata tells the class, "Those of you who agree with Abby's opinion, raise your hand." Most of the students lift their hands. A faint grin drifts across Abby's face. Arata has discovered that although Abby does not enjoy being the center of attention, she does enjoy having others believe what she believes. Sequence action by the student that are less like the behavior to be learned than previous actions are not positively reinforced. And the next is case 9-7. When Miss Harris students speak to her, she makes a concerted effort to use eye contact and display of interest as long as they are speaking positively about others and using expressions such as thank you, please, excuse me, and if you don't mind. She employs fewer active listening strategy and seamless interest in what they are saying when they speak poorly of other people. Speak in authoritative manner of utilize the appropriate terms. In the start of she listens for any hints of thoughtfulness in the student's speech, no matter how important. She ensures that the pupil understands how much she appreciates that display. And the last is case 9-8. Students in a college psychology class decide to use shaping to play a practical joke on their professor. They appear very attentive to the professor lecture whenever he makes my movement toward the doorway of the lecture hall. Any movement away from the door, any failure to move at all, is met with interference. After a week, the professor is lecturing from the doorway. In this context, every time the lecturer moves closer to lecture hall door, the students seem to really pay attention of the lecture. On the other hand, if the lecturer moves away from the door or does not move at all, student will appear interested. Okay, the last material is cueing. A cue is a signal that stimulates a person, e.g. a student, to exhibit a previously learned voluntary behavior pattern. Consider cases 9-13 to 9-15. In the case 9-13, Ms. Cesar's second grade are working in pairs. The noise level in the classroom begins to rise to an unexpectable level. Saying nothing, Ms. Cesar calmly walks over to the light switch and blinks the light once. The noise level drops to an expectable level. This is an example of how Ms. Cesar used non-verbal cues to control a situation without needing to shout or give a verbal warning. By simply turning off the light, students understand that they need to be quieted. And the next is K9-14. Mr. Weber is vocally giving direction to his chemistry students who are working at laboratory tables. As they follow his direction, they become somewhat noisy in their efforts. To help one another, Mr. Weber continues to speak, but gradually lowers his voice so that it is no longer audible to those in the noise room. The students begin signaling of one another to quiet down until the noise level drops below Mr. Weber's volume. This is an example of how Mr. Weber used subtle means to control distractions in class. By lowering the volume, students realize that they need to be quieter in order to hear the instruction clearly. And the last is case 9-15. 5 minutes ago, Ms. Peterson assigned Tyrone and his 6th grade classmates some exercise problems to work on in class. After working out a problem, Tyrone doodles and gazes around the room. Ms. Peterson walks over to Tyrone and silently looks at his paper. Tyrone's attention returns to the exercise problems. Okay, the next material about maintaining desirable behavior change. The first is reinforcement schedules. The duration of a behavior pattern, whether it is off task or on task, is mostly determined by when positive reinforcements are given out. Concern should be given special considerations when addressing off-task behaviors in the classroom. Two types of reinforcement schedules, mandated and sporadically. And the point 2 is fixed schedules. Fixed schedules of positive reinforcement can be either fixed intervals or fixed rations. Fixed interval schedule provide for a positive reinforcement to occur routinely after a set amount of time elapsed in which a prescribed behavior has been displayed. Students on a fixed positive reinforcement schedule can predict how and when they will be rewarded for displaying the prescribed behavior. In case 9-9, a teacher used a fixed interval schedule of positive reinforcement, and in case 9-10, the schedule is fixed ration. And the point 3 is intermittent schedules. Fixed schedules of positive reinforcement are particularly powerful in motivating students to imitate a behavior pattern, but intermittent schedules are far more powerful in getting students to return a behavior pattern once the pattern has been started. The student whose behavior pattern is being positively reinforced cannot be accurately predict when rewards will occur because an intermittent schedule of reinforcement is regular. Most implant reinforcement schedules are intermittent, and implant intermittent reinforcement schedule leads to understable behavior pattern in case 9. The classic example of intermittent schedule is that the unpredictable rewards associated with grumbling behavior. And the last is planned schedule of reinforcement. Caller that Milo is not completing reading assignment. Caller decided to use shaping to teach Milo to choose to read books.
Okay, thank you Rafika for great explanation. Next material will be delivered by Sophia. To Sophia, please take your turn.
Generalization and discrimination. The idea, the method of communicate Mr. Sowell with 7 credits in case 916 and 917 may not be imitated in any way. However, his discussion with two of these sudden reflection ideas, a standard of generalization and circulation. Principle of generalization. In case 916, in which Mr. Sowell tries to habitually demonstrate the classroom behavior patterns that he is being practiced at home. Teach students the generalization between the two situations by perfect clarity that remind them of what the two situations have in common. The next, the principle of discrimination. Students, parents, and parents study to new stimulus combination in a way that is different from the way they have been confided to respond to different but similar stimulus combination. Students tend to differentiate between two situations so that they respond differently to the situation compared to another. They focus on difference rather than similarities. And the last, distinguishing between generalization and discriminating. In case 915 to 921, Stefan, VM, Amanda, and Arjun appear to be generalization. The next slide, applying principle of modeling. Model behavior when tentative patterns of behavior they observe displayed by others. Modeling is a very powerful tool for teaching behavior patterns to students. The next, applying the principle of situation. In case 932, Ms. Elphin's attempt to apply the principle of situation. According to that principle, if the learned behavior is allowed to continue, the person exhibiting the behavior will sound careful with the pattern and cause to stop. Okay, the next slide, synthesis as activities for chapter 9. The following is a list of in concept of principle from behavioristic psychology that can be used in the design learning activities to help students with knowledge of text behavior patterns with untext patterns.
Thank you, Sophia, for the good explanations. Okay, because the explanation of the material has all been conveyed, then I will read the conclusion about this material. So, the conclusion is understanding and effectively applying the principle and strategies for modifying of text behavior patterns in students is essential for educators aiming to create a conducive learning environment. By leveraging techniques such as extensions, alternative behavior patterns, and shaping, educators can guide students toward more productive and respectful behaviors. The strategic use of positive reinforcement and its various schedules plays a critical role in sustaining desired behaviors, while the principle of generalizations and discriminations ensure these behaviors are consistently maintained across different contexts. This not only enhances students' academic performance, but also contributes to their overall personal development, equipping them with the behavior skills necessary for success both inside and outside the classrooms. Okay, that is the conclusion. And finally, we came to the end of the presentations. I would like to say thank you to all presenters for the great presentations and to the audience for their active participations. And don't forget to Mr. Andriana Gofar who have guiding us. We apologize if there are some mistakes in the presentations. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.